What it do, being crew? It's your boy Savon Thomas back with another episode of Coffee and Comments. Today we're going to review the movie Dune Part 2. Was it good? Was it trash? Let's talk about it, but first, let's take a sip. Welcome back, Bean Crew. Again, this is a review of the movie Dune Part 2. This movie was epic. Phenomenal. I'm going to come out and say, this should be as award-winning as Oppenheimer was in 2023. That's how phenomenal this was. Literally one of the best sequels I've ever seen when it comes to a movie. Dune did a great job of setting everything up, but Dune Part 2 was absolutely phenomenal. Timothee Chalamet, or as he would say, Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet, 18 ans.
Crushed it, bro. He crushed in his role as Paul Atreides, right? I'm going to touch on the movie itself. I'm not going to touch on the plot, the storyline too much because we can dive into a whole review of that, thoughts on that, things like that. I'm going to kind of keep things surface level. You can dive further into the storyline, understanding what's going on in other videos, right? I'm just here to talk about my thoughts on this movie, and it was phenomenal. Him playing Paul Atreides was phenomenal. And for me, I never read the Dune books, so I didn't really the plot points. I wasn't clicking sometimes, but when I went back and rewatched it and watched some videos too, it makes a lot more sense. What was going on in that show? One of the biggest things that was my complaint when I saw Dune 1 was I remember leading up to me watching it, Zendaya and Timothee's role in this movie in Dune 1 was everything people talked about, right? At least the storyline, every single trailer you saw featured Timothy and Zendaya. And then you watch Dune 1 and Zendaya's in the movie for all of her actual character. There's glimpses and memories that he has of her, but her actual character's in the movie for 5 minutes and has maybe 2 lines. You know what I mean? Probably more than 2, but still not much. Zendaya's character, though she does show up in visions, doesn't really provide much in Dune Part 1. Dune Part 2, though, everything we were looking for. The love story, them being together, him her teaching him this way, accepting him, teaching him the ways, everything that you were hoping for in their relationship blossoms in Dune Part 2. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I somehow I hope they keep that, if that makes sense. I hope they keep that. Because right now, justice for Zendaya. That's all I'll say. But Florence Pugh, you see her character get introduced as well. And again, similar situation to Zendaya's character in Part 1, episode 1, Star Wars. In Part 1, you kind of see her play her character a little bit throughout the movie. She's a daughter of the Emperor, and you see her writing the story. And then they finally meet at the end, her and Timothée Chalamet, Paul Atreides. And so I feel it's just the next day, them two are gonna have a thing, right? Obviously, you say I'll take your daughter's hand in marriage. Again, spoilers, I apologize. So this movie was, again, fantastic. You have all these different great actors in this movie. I mentioned Timothée, mentioned Zendaya, mentioned Florence Pugh. You have Christopher Walken in this movie playing the Emperor. Fantastic, right? Stellan Skarsgard, fantastic. Bautista, which was interesting to me because the Harkonnens, they're still ruthless in what they do, but you see their especially with Bautista, his character was so ruthless in the first movie, but then took a dip. Right, Austin Butler as well obviously plays the nephew that they take over, and one of my favorite scenes, I think honestly, I think the best scene in this movie was the Coliseum scene when you can see the Harkonnen planet, and because you see them and you're oh well, they look regular. Why do they always look white, right? And that's not a race thing, but why do they always look white? What's going on? They have normal skin, but it's the planet and the sun on their planet makes them look that way, and I love it because it kind of looks black and whitish, and then the fight in the Coliseum and all the Harkonnens like in that Coliseum being ruthless, like you felt the chance. Like when I was watching it, I was so geeked, man. I absolutely loved that. Like I remember writing in my notes, I was like, this scene is absolutely fire. Like Austin Butler does a great job. You know, is he like a character? I feel like you could have put anybody in that character that was doing a good job. He does well, but I mean, I'm not really like he did great in Elvis, but like I'm not like the biggest Austin Butler guy. So he does a good job, but it is what it is. But that's like that entire Coliseum scene with the Harkonnens and that character Austin Butler plays fighting, bro. Like that was Chef's kiss. Like it was so good, man. It was so good. I love this movie. It was fantastic. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Honestly, I should give it 10 out of 10. Again, there's a couple different story like parts of the storyline I would throw away. Like the reason why it's not a perfect 10 for me is just like there's a couple pieces to the storyline that I was like, you didn't really need this. Like you could have done without this, right? Um, but again, it's there's little things I nitpick, little things like there's movies where I give it 10 out of 10. It's not the greatest movie in the world. This movie is fantastic, like literally one of the best movies I've ever seen. And visually, like great cinematography, great score, acting phenomenal, all the great act. Like this should win multiple awards. Like honestly, like it's again chef's kiss. Anyways, 9.5 out of 10, coffee and comments. This is a dark roast, clearly dark roast scale movie. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. If you have seen it, please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of